Hey guys, it's Ernesto and welcome back to yet another video. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. I'm having a wonderful day. So today I want to walk you guys through a photo shoot that I did with one of my clients. She just turned 16 years old, so this is her 16-year-old birthday photo shoot. This photo shoot consisted of a number of different challenges, both challenges that I kind of created of my own and challenges that had to do with the environment. First of all, this day was very, very hot. There's not much movement that I needed to make in order to sweat. I could have simply sweat by just coming out of my car. It was that hot. That being said, I want to walk you through two problems that I kind of created on this very first setup and how I corrected for those two problems. So the first issue that I had to deal with is that the client wanted to be captured with this tree. And the reason she wanted to be captured with this tree is because she loved the colors. Both her and her mom, they loved the colors. So my first thought process was simply to put her under the tree because it's so hot, and getting her in the shade makes sense from a lighting perspective and also from a heat perspective so she doesn't sweat. But that created two problems. The first problem it created is that it created spotty lighting on her face and also created a significant disparity between light and shadow. She was in shadow, her upper body was in shadow, and it was spotty lighting as well. But her bottom portion, her dress, as you could see in this video, was significantly blown out. It was in sun. So that was the first problem I was dealing with, and I was struggling to try to figure that out. The second problem had to do with the proximity between the subject and the tree. She was too close to the tree. So when I was reviewing the images, she just felt as one. The image didn't feel harmonious. It didn't feel like it was coming together. So what I decided to do was simply move the subject across from the tree. This corrected both problems because I put her in complete shade, and I also gave her a great deal of distance between the tree, which now when I captured the image, it helped with the distance between her and the tree. It helped to make that image look a little bit more harmonious. And it also, from a lighting perspective, it complemented the subject much better than the previous images before. So that's how I corrected this problem that I kind of created at the beginning of this, because this was my very first setup. And guys, going into any photo shoot, when you start it, you're going to realize that you make some serious errors at the beginning, but it's good that you recognize those errors, because if you do recognize those errors, then you could correct it like I did. So here's the final image from this first setup. Alright guys, so this is our second setup. What the subject and her mom wanted was to have that type of hills are alive with the sound of music type of look. So I decided to use my artificial light, and I decided to have the sun backlit the subject, because I figure with my artificial light and the backlit situation, it would create a wonderful image and I could call it a day. But I really ended up hated the image, and the reason I ended up hated it is because I hated the background. I didn't really like the background because it wasn't really giving me that feeling that I was looking for, or the subject was looking for, or when they told me, you know, the type of image that they were going for. So what I decided to do was kill the artificial light, have the subject turned around and face the sun. So basically, you know, the big no-no, don't put your subject in harsh sun. Well, that's what I did in this particular situation, because the background and the lighting worked perfectly. I wasn't battling the two. So with that, the other thing that I needed was movement. So I requested from the subject that she move her dress back and forth, give me a nice smile, to give me that vibe that we were going for with that hills are alive with the sound of music. So hope you guys enjoy this image. Here we go. On this third setup, this particular setup was something suggested by the subject. She really wanted a shot of her sitting down in her dress. Now, immediately as she sat down in the dress, the first thought or the first image that came to mind was a shot from above. Now, the challenge that I had with this particular setup was the fact that I didn't have a ladder. And I think if I had a ladder, it would have been a better image than the image that I got. I am still happy with the image that I got, but I felt like if I had a ladder, shooting it from above, the image would have been a little bit more centered, which is what I was trying to go for. And I wouldn't have so much green on the sides of the image. I think I would have been able to fill in the image with her dress completely. The next image was her sitting up with the sun behind her, and I utilized an artificial light as well. So the first image was an artificial light, the second image artificial light as well. And I really love this image, and I really love the fact that the trees were coming into her head as opposed to, you know, competing in the background. I really like how that composition came together. The next couple of images I utilized natural light because natural light, I really love the look of it in this particular setup. So that's why I decided to utilize it over artificial light. Alright guys, so this is the last setup, and as you could tell, I look like I just ran like 10 miles or something, but it's just from the sheer heat. It was a lot, and you know, I think we were out there maybe 30 minutes, 40 minutes so far, and yeah, I wasn't really you know, feeling at my full potential because of so much heat. But in any case, I was there to do a job and I needed to knock it out. So even though that I was feeling a little bit under the, you know, not wet, I shouldn't say, I was feeling a little bit drained of energy. I did notice that there was a problem in the background of this image. When I took the first image, I noticed the inside of that shed, not even sure if that's the right name for it, was a little bit too dark. The ceiling was a little bit too dark, so I added in that 80-200 to fill in those shadows just a little bit, and then I requested from the subject to provide me with a little bit of movement. Now I had to be careful with how much movement she gave me because she would have ended up looking just like me, so I had to make sure that the movement were just enough for the image but not too much to, you know, basically make her look like me. So the combination of correcting that background and basically having the subject add a little bit of movement to the image really brought this image together, and I really love the final look at this image. So guys, my final message is just pay attention to those little details because it really does impact your image. I know I said that was the last image, but this is actually is in fact the last image. As I was about to wrap up, because really and truly I was really feeling drained, I still wanted to create more images. I still wanted to deliver for my client. And I saw an opportunity right behind the last setup that we were on, which was this nice old looking structure, this house that I wanted to take an image of. So what I decided to do here was a very simple thing. Just had the subject stand up in front of the house. I used the strobe to basically light the subject. For my first setup, I decided to get something a little bit wide with the structure in the image, because obviously that's the first thing that drew me to this particular location, is the structure itself. And just the addition of the subject with the type of dress that she was wearing, it really gave that old style feel to the image. You know, like this is the kind of things that people used to wear, you know, back in the day with this type of house. So I just felt like the two things went together really, really nicely. So I got the wide shot, and then I decided to come in for a more close-up, more intimate image. For this one, I make sure that her dress was positioned properly, covering up the stairs. And once that was done, I captured the image, and these are the last two images that you're gonna see on your screen. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. Put a comment down below, let me know what you think. Share the video with your friends and family if you believe it will be helpful to them. And guys, if you got this far in this video and you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.